Wednesday, December 17th. The time is now 3:42 p.m. At this time, councilors, I'd like to entertain a motion. Hopefully you had an opportunity to read the minutes of the November 12th meeting. Can I entertain a motion and a second for approval of those minutes?
I have one correction.
Yes, Councilor Gunn?
Yes, the name Dunn needs to be changed to Gunn.
Thank you very much.
All right. And I make a motion to approve the minutes with that correction.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Right. The minutes of the November 12th meeting are approved with that one correction from Dunn to Gunn. All right. At this time, we do have 3 items that are on our agenda. We thank you all for joining us for this holiday version of the Committee of the Whole meeting. Our first agenda item is a review of the city's 2026 legislative agenda priority items. And we have individuals who will come and discuss the priority items with us, as well as giving us a rationale for those items being placed on the list. And we do have copies of those provided. I do want to draw attention to the councilors that the draft version that you have in front of you, that one we will replace that because it is out of order and you have some items that shouldn't appear, okay? And they're making copies of those for us. They'll be right with us. So first we will have, which appears as number 2 on the draft version that you have. This is the Alabama Land Bank Act Amendment, and we have Attorney Caroline Douglas to come and give us information about this item. Good afternoon, Attorney Douglas.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I am Caroline Douglas, and I'm pleased to serve as the Executive Director for the Birmingham Land Bank. And on behalf of our board, our chairman, Dr. Lonnie Hannon, and our staff, we appreciate the support of the Birmingham City Council. I wanted to mention today that land banks specialize in properties that have been rejected by the market. What does that really look like? It looks like a property in disrepair. It looks like a property that's been abandoned. And although we know that all of those properties are not necessarily tax delinquent, we do specialize in acquiring them from the state and then conveying them for development. We do not invest in tax liens, but we are authorized by state law to clear the titles of tax delinquent and burden properties. What is the reason why we do this for Birmingham? For Birmingham is to provide residents the opportunity to gain ownership of a vacant lot next door to them, or provide residents with an opportunity to build or renovate a home. It's also to provide opportunities for community gardens and urban farms, which we know can sustain families for days to come. And we also know that this provides opportunities for the city of Birmingham and other organizations to create projects or bus stops or housing developments or park projects. So in short, the Birmingham Land Banks holds land for Birmingham's future. The changes that are being recommended in our proposed legislation, they were drafted with the help of Attorney Jim Stanley. That is why he is here. And I'm also going to go section by section, but give you the broad overview. So this bill would amend provisions of the existing Land Bank Act that was enacted in 2009, most recently amended in 2021. What this bill would do is it would allow the Birmingham Land Bank and all other land banks in the state to acquire property more quickly. So this is Birmingham, Gadsden, Bessemer, Fairfield, and the city of Enterprise. Why this is important is because the tax collecting official for the county has the option to opt into a tax deed sale or a tax lien sale. What's the difference? Either you're purchasing a property for the delinquent taxes owed, or you are purchasing the debt for the delinquent taxes owed. So for Jefferson County right now, it is a tax lien sale. What does that mean for land banks in the state of Alabama? It means that if we were to participate as it currently stands, we would have to pay those delinquent taxes owed, then pass on that expense to the buyer. That ultimately can burden the buyer. It can cool interest in properties because we would have to pay all the amounts owed. What we're asking here is for the same access we have at the state level to be given to us at the county level. So why does that matter? in each of your districts, there are opportunities that I would like to tell you about. What happens is if Attorney Stanley purchased the tax lien in a property in Council President's District, he would have to wait 3 years before he clears that title. So I'm just showing you the impact of the current tax lien sale process so you can understand why the Birmingham Land Bank wants access. All right, so Attorney Stanley buys that tax lien, he will have to wait 3 years to clear that title. So each time those taxes come up unpaid, he has the first right to pay those taxes. On year 3, or is it 4? On year 3, he can file a suit to quiet the title, but he has 7 years to do that. Why does that matter? He has no obligation to keep up that property. As a tax lien investor, he has no obligation to secure that property. As a tax lien investor, he doesn't even have to cut the grass. So that property can sit in any one of your districts in disrepair, overgrown, unoccupied, abandoned, and he's still investing in the tax debt. So the benefit of what we can do is we want to step into that sale, not to compete with the tax lien investor. But if no one wants that property, we want to step in and we want to acquire that property. So that is the most important, I would say, feature of this bill.
Thank you so much. It's great when we hear the rationale and you put it to that example, because I know that we often have properties in each of our districts that we think are about to come up and meet this requirement for delinquency, but I did not know about the 7-year period, and that is often, I think, what we encounter. Let me ask this, and this question, I don't know if you're prepared to answer. So with that property being in the district, now it's owned, it's privately owned, would it still not come under our code enforcement requirements, the amount of grass, the way the property looks and those type things?
So the property in that example, so let's say I was the prior owner, but for some reason, health reasons, I just couldn't pay those taxes. And Attorney Stanley invests in the tax lien. The city's code enforcement ordinances would still apply to me as the owner. It does not impact him. It would still, you can still enforce it, but he has nothing to do with that. So theoretically, it would not be enforceable against him.
I see that.
And imagine if the property owner is deceased, or if the heirs are living there, or whatever the case may be. They may not even get notice. Maybe notice is issued and may not reach them, but for the tax lien investor, he has no burden or obligation to abide by those code enforcement ordinances.
Okay. And we do have a sponsor for this particular item already?
Yes, we have Senator Coleman, Madison Coleman. I always get it wrong, Coleman Madison, right? Well, we are very fortunate that she carries this bill for us in the Senate. We're very fortunate that she cares about the work that she does, and that she's able to see at ground level what's the impact of the work that we've been doing.
I know she's been successful in others, and so I feel very encouraged to have her as a sponsor with this, and we thank her for continuing this work on behalf of the city. Councilors, any questions regarding this particular priority item? Yes, Madam Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to thank you, Caroline, and Attorney Stanley, for all the hard work that you have done, and really want to lift up Senator Coleman Madison for the hard work that she's doing. This is going to be a serious game changer, so thank you all. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, attorneys.
Thank you.
The next item is the Birmingham Housing Trust Fund, and this relates to a Class 1 municipalities and our authority to create a housing trust fund. And for rationale and discussion on this particular item, we have Dr. Megan Venable Thomas, Special Advisor, and Kelvin Datcher. I don't know what I said. It didn't sound right what I just said, but Go ahead and tell us who you are. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council President and Councilors. I'm Megan Venable Thomas. I serve as Director of Community Development for the city, and I'm excited to talk to you about actually two legislations that we are proposing for this legislative session. And I'm mentioning them together because we believe that these are two tools that separately are amazing, but together can have even more impact. So when we think about smart tools for affordable and stable growth, both the Housing Trust Fund and the Community Land Trust opportunities really are going to be supported for our Birmingham residents. And so I'll spare you all my background information about Birmingham because I know you all know that, and that we're facing some real housing challenges. And so these two legislations will really help us be able to grow more equitably. So first, the Housing Trust Fund. Basically, it is a dedicated, ongoing public source used exclusively for affordable housing. And so what can it do? It can build new affordable housing. It can preserve and repair existing housing, support workforce housing, fill financing gaps for nonprofit and mission-driven developers, and leverage federal and private dollars. That's important for us because it creates predictable funding instead of one-time solutions. And so a lot of our funding comes from federal grants. And as many of us know, those are currently at risk. And so this helps us to have more dedicated funding sources and reliable funding sources. It helps stabilize neighborhoods and reduce vacancies, as well as supports long-term housing goals that we've already identified in our city planning. And it ensures that our public dollars are used more strategically and efficiently. So the Housing Trust Fund gives Birmingham the resources to act consistently and at scale. If the body pleases, I can also go into the Community Land Trust as well and then talk a little bit about how those work together.
Councilors, that would be item number 4 that's on your priority list. So thank you. Yes.
And so the Land Trust is a nonprofit that owns land permanently to ensure housing remains affordable. And so very high level how it works is the CLT owns the land, the families own or rent the homes on the land, and then resale prices are limited to keep homes affordable for future residents. And so why that matters for us is it prevents displacement as neighborhoods reinvest. It keeps homes affordable that are near jobs, transit, and other services because those are our high redevelopment areas. It turns vacant lots into permanent community assets, so it allows us to work with our partners like the Land Bank to think about how those lots go into productive public use over the long term. And it allows families to build equity without being concerned about speculative price increases as developers and other financiers know that those prices are going to go up in those neighborhoods. And so the Land Trust protects affordability for future generations. And so how do those two things go together? The Housing Trust Fund is a steady funding source for housing, affordable housing, and the Community Land Trust creates permanent affordability and community-based control. Together, they turn public investment into long-term assets, protect neighborhoods from displacement, and they ensure that the housing dollars continue to benefit Birmingham residents over time. They help to grow without pushing out those residents. And they can address aging housing vacancy, which we know is a challenge for Birmingham, as well as strengthen our neighborhoods citywide. So ultimately, it helps us to be more stable and inclusive in our housing future. Pending your questions.
All right, thank you. Councilors, would you like to I know that we have one of our sponsors of one of these bills with us, as well as a staff member, Mr. Datcher. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about this particular, the trust fund, creating the Housing Trust Fund? And I guess I'm just thinking of, as us being a Class 1 municipality, how do you think this would, as trying to push this through the legislature, would there have any questions or concerns that might come up as far as this type of legislation?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Good afternoon, Council. I think one of the most important things that the trust fund allows us to do is there are opportunities out there that the city itself, because of who we are and how we're structured, how we're incorporated, we're just not entitled to apply for, right? So anytime that the mayor and the council would invest in that trust fund, we want to use those as leverage dollars, right? So if you guys put $5 million, $10 million in that fund, we don't necessarily want to spend that $5 or $10 million. We want to leverage it against other opportunities that are out there. We want to work with the Alabama Housing Finance Authority to go after the 4%, the 9% tax credits and those kinds of things. And there are other grant opportunities from the federal government, from philanthropies, that the city itself is not eligible for. But the trust fund can leverage what are in essence used to be city dollars to, kind of have a multiplier effect for us to go after, large-scale development. We don't want to, drive the market. We want to support specific opportunities. So then we're riding those market waves and we are actually incentivizing those waves instead of being kind of the primary funder of housing growth. But we know that we can seed the market and then help other properties look profitable to investors.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions, councilors? Councilor Gunn?
Yeah, I'm super excited to see that this is happening. As Birmingham continues to grow and industries decide to locate in the city of Birmingham, housing is going to be a continual concern for constituents across the city of Birmingham. My concern is, or question, it's not really a concern, are there other municipalities throughout the southeast or across the country that have instituted land trusts and how they have leveraged the land trust to maintain affordable housing?
Yes, absolutely. And there are a lot of strong models that dictate how that land trust has been leveraged to maintain affordability, particularly in areas of redevelopment and reinvestment. And so we know we have quite a few pockets that are going to be redeveloped, have large redevelopments that are currently underway. And already, for Smithfield might be a great example, right? Already are receiving speculative marketers, other types of investments are interested in coming there, and that's great in some ways, but also we want a mechanism that protects our existing and historic residents. And so we've seen this work in other cities. I'm happy to share some of those specific examples and how those land trusts have worked. There are different ways that they've been run in different places, and so ultimately, as Mr. Datcher mentioned, we would not run the land trust, but this allows us to enable legislation to be able to put in place a land trust that would be a separately governed body to be able to do this type of work.
Good, thank you. Any other questions? I think Pro Tem has a question.
Thank you, Madam President. Dr. Thomas, you did answer the question because so the land trust would be its own entity set up as a 501c3 that will house an executive director and a team.
Correct.
And so I did hear Mr. Datcher mention about leveraging those philanthropic dollars, because you do see, I've read some information about community land trusts where you have like a lot of philanthropic people like the Bloomberg Foundation, a lot of people come in and, invest those philanthropic dollars. So that gives us an opportunity, as you say, to go after philanthropic and everybody's putting in and collaborating.
That's
Good
correct.
to see this coming, because I have read something about community land trusts and how it's been very beneficial in other other states. Thank you all for your hard work.
Thank you, appreciate it. No other questions? All right, thank you for this
Thank you.
presentation. The next item that's on the priority list is the Alabama Vacant Property Registration Bill. And this again also relates to Class 1 municipalities with the authority to enact by ordinance provision for vacant property registration. And we have to discuss that with us this afternoon is Ms. Katrina Thomas, who's the Director of PEP. Hello, Ms. Thomas.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Council President Alexander, and good afternoon, City Council. I'm Katrina Thomas. I have the pleasure of serving as Director of the Department of Planning, Engineering, and Permits, PEP. And so I want to first thank you for the work that you have done to help us just push our strategic code enforcement initiatives, especially with adopting the local ordinance related to our SB 9 legislation, and that has been really helpful. In code enforcement, we see a lot of issues that plague our city, especially as it relates to vacancy. So this legislation in particular is really focused on those vacant properties. We have thousands of them, and they do create some challenges for us. And so at its core, this bill gives Birmingham the authority. It's not a mandate. It just gives us the authority to create a local vacant property registration program. And it just recognizes something that we experience every day, that these vacant and abandoned properties create real challenges for our neighborhoods, for public safety, and for city services. The bill, the way it's written, and I want to thank Attorney Stanley as well. He has helped tremendously on this bill. And some of it is modeled after some of the work that Mobile has done. But it has clear findings that long-term vacancies contribute a lot to the blight. They attract criminal activity, increase police and fire calls. It just depresses the property values of those other properties around it, and really places a disproportionate financial burden on the city. And you get those calls, we receive calls all the time, where our residents, especially on the block where you see residents taking care of their property, and there may be one vacant property that's on that block that just really diminishes the character of everything else around it. And so, but we know that there are missed opportunities with these vacant properties as well. There are opportunities for these properties to be used for housing, for business activity, for neighborhood reinvestment. And so this legislation is just allows us to address those challenges in a way that we can measure them, and also in a legally sound way. So first, it allows us to just develop a registration to know where these properties are, identify who owns them, how to contact the responsible party. As you know, sometimes we're challenged with getting the right property owner to court, and so this registration would allow us to identify who those property owners are. And that helps us improve communication and accountability and just drive compliance. Second, the bill authorizes us to collect a reasonable registration fee. And the statute, it caps that fee as well, but it's directly tied to the additional costs that the city has to incur to just inspect these properties, the nuisance abatement that takes place, the emergency responses. And so those fees are not intended to be punitive. It's not a tax or anything. It's just a defrayment of what we have to go through to drive compliance on those properties. And then there are some exemptions that are written into the bill, where properties that are under renovation, properties that are actively listed for sale, properties that are in probate, or properties that are just temporarily vacant for whatever reason, it allows us to have some exemptions for those. And that the owner will be able to submit a restoration plan, provide some type of time and relief, if they have some good faith going towards rehabilitation of the property. And then lastly, it just provides a due process. There's a notice process that's surrounding this as well, where property owners will have the right to appeal. We do believe that the legislation as written will allow us to just better manage our vacancies more strategically and responsibly, and just allow us to be more proactive instead of being reactive. And so there are a few changes that we would like to propose going forward, and that's after some feedback that we received from the real estate community, where we want to look at making the vacancy time period longer. So that's one of the comments that we heard from some of the engagement that we did. I'm looking for that page specifically. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. I think right now the way it is written is that it's 6 months. And I think that we would be in support of that being a longer period of time. And so extend that vacancy time period and use a longer standard rather than a shorter standard, which is the way it's currently written now. I think it's written as 90 days. And then broaden the exemptions of properties to make sure it's very clear that that we're not targeting any properties that are actively marketed for sale or undergoing renovation, or that they're under contract for due diligence if they're trying to transition that property into a different ownership. And then make sure that we identify the characteristics of what that vacant property will look like as well. And so that is really a high level of what the ordinance is intended to do. And we hope that this, as well as the other tools that we're using in code enforcement, will help us drive compliance and really get a handle on just identifying these vacant properties so that we can enforce them in a more strategic way.
Thank you so much, Ms. Thomas. Any questions about this particular item? I know for me, it would also impact the number of homes that we have in District 7 that may fall under this category. So when we often want to find out how many we have, you know, what's the status of them, hopefully this registration will give us more data that we can utilize in order to know that these properties exist in our various neighborhoods. Any questions? Well, thank you so much for bringing that particular item to us. Councilors, I think we can all agree, we want to thank administration for these particular items that are already on the priority list. I know that each of us are plagued in our own way of having properties, vacant properties, nuisance properties that come under all sorts of categories, from air property or properties that are owned by people that do not live in the city of Birmingham. That is a constant source of struggle and really makes us feel bad. Often I have talked with residents about the state of Alabama, the laws are generally in favor of the property owner. This is just something that has always been a staple or just a foundation of legislation in Alabama. So, and sometimes it works against us when we have property owners who do not fall within the guidelines of being a good property owner and looking at the best interest of the city. So we thank you for these items that are listed and thank those of you who have presented that to us. At this time, do we have any other, no, we have other items. Let me pass this down. At this time, councilors, I will open up opportunity to see if there are any other additional recommendations that we may have, and I know we have one from Councilor Woods. Councilor Woods, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to introduce item for consideration around, I think we all are aware that we do have some unattended properties, whether that be people just speculating or just not taking care of their properties. And so looking at the idea centered around a blight tax, effectively where you would pay a higher tax rate if you have a blighted property. We found a little over 6 cities in Georgia that have implemented variations of this successfully. And what it does, it creates a higher level of accountability. Currently, the property tax rate is, I want to say, 3.65%. Birmingham's portion of that is 10 mills or 1%. And only the Birmingham portion would be subject to the multiplier in this instance. And so, you know, basically it is just that we would have to determine, kind of coordinating with code enforcement, but set our standards and definition of what entails, what basically qualifies you as a blighted property. But I think we've all seen, you know, whether just people are, we got a lot downtown, people are just holding buildings. We see them across 9 districts where people are just, you may see growth around them, people aren't investing in their property, it may be dilapidated, unsecured, and so that becomes a concern. The associated revenue, in turn, is 100% dedicated to mitigating the issues associated with blighted property, and so that's demolition, rehab, rehabilitation grants for property owners. Land bank operations is one thing that could be used, code enforcement capacity, and other things that are what we would look at as community development. And so I think that is something, this is a no cost to the state, you know, and so basically we would just be adding more teeth into our ecosystem to push back against people who are not doing their part as property owners here in Birmingham. And so wanted to put this on the table, just get some feedback. Got a draft, just see if there's some interest in maybe pursuing this.
Thank you very much for bringing this to us again. We know how these type properties and blight affects each of our districts. Councilors, any questions regarding this particular item? Councilor Williams?
Clint, I think this is a great idea. I think that we should definitely pursue adopting it as a legislative priority. Obviously, this is a election year in the state of Alabama, so the things that are our priorities this year might be on the priority list next year. If you know how that goes. So, whenever it's appropriate, I'd like to make a motion that we add this to our priority list.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, we provided a copy of that for administration as well and our government affairs team. So depending upon the outcome, we will be providing this additional information for adding to our priority list. Thank you so much, Counselor. Appreciate that. All right, at this time, are there any other additional recommendations from counselors? Counselor Williams?
Thank you. I would like to add that we put turning the Mayor-Council Act back to the pre-2018 changes. So it would be the beginning of the 2017 Mayor-Council Act as one of our legislative priorities.
So your request would be to take it back to pre-2018?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions regarding that particular item, counselors? What we'd like to do, with the brief that Counselor Woods provided to us, if you could get something in writing with some of the rationale behind that, so that we could further consider that, we would be ready to consider that, but we would need something that we could have more opportunity to review, as well as to look at in detail what is the scope when we say turning it back from 2018 to 2017? I just need to go back and look at the item itself and see what all that would entail.
I mean, I'm happy to do that.
Okay.
If there's a member of this council that doesn't understand the changes of 2017, they need to step down. But,
Now, I don't know.
but I'm happy to put together that. I think that the underlying fear, I think, is that there is a attempt to overreach and start taking administrative powers that the mayor currently holds, and that is not the intent, and that was not present in the 2017 Mayor-Council Act. But I will put together a brief synopsis, or ask our central staff to do that, Mr. McDaniels, and we will get that done.
If you would do that, I do, I guess I'm trying to understand your statement. You said, if no one understands what happened. And I'm a sitting member of this council, and what I'm asking is not saying that I don't understand what the changes are. I want to see them in writing and with your rationale of what those changes would be and what is the full scope of that. So it's not necessarily not having an awareness of what those changes are, because I believe that since 2017, we've had a lot of discussion about what those changes have been, but I'd just like to see that all put into some type of format, okay? Any questions or concerns about this particular item? All right. At this time, I would like to ask if you all would consider, we have the 4 items that are before us right now that are considered for the priority list that are presented to us today. We could have a motion and a second on these items, and then we could take the other 2 items in consideration, and they can be presented to us when we have the readiness and the information in front of us to fully review. Would anyone like to make that motion? And then we'll take that to the full council.
Madam President, that we adopted 2026 state legislative agenda priority list.
Second. All right. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right, thank you. So the 4 items that are before us this afternoon, they will move to the council agenda for consideration for our priority list. And then we'll take these 2 other items when we get them in the format that has been requested, and if it's presented to us, in the way that we could look at it fully and review it, then we will also entertain those items as well. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the members of the Government Affairs team. I know that you've been working for quite some time to bring these particular items to us, and so we thank you for the work that's been done, as well as for each of these department directors and our city attorneys that have allowed us to be able to review these items. I also would like to thank the members of our lobbying group who work diligently for us and will be helping to push these particular items. As Councilor Williams has already stated, this is a short term for this legislative session because those legislators will be coming up for re-election. Sometimes that does have a weigh on the number of items that they will actually even review and consider during that legislative session. So I'm very encouraged by the fact that we already have 2 sponsors and that we'll be able to push these bills, and we'll be looking for the 2 additional sponsors. Not to put our administrative team, government affairs team on asking you a trick question, but I do just want to ask, once we approve these, we would have a time frame for getting those. I know there's a pre-filing that has to occur with those. And so could anyone from administration just talk a little bit about that process?
Yes, Madam President. If Mr. Greg Jones can come up, he can kind of brief the council on how that works, the timeline for pre-filled.
Thank you.
Money at work.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Dash 3 under the bus, Greg.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to stand before you. As it relates to your question, our session will start on the second Tuesday in January, January the 12th. And because this is an election year, you are correct. The session probably be expedited more than it normally is. So we anticipate getting out at the end of March, no later than the first week of April. So as it relates to the process, yes, once you decide you're going to go with these bills, we need to get a bill drafted. Some of the bills probably would need a pre-filing, and that takes, I'm guessing, 30 days or so to get those bills back from pre-filing. Then we'll get it to the legislative drafting services for them to do the final stamp and go with our sponsors and get those introduced. So if that's the will which you voted on today, we need to start getting those bills advertised tomorrow if possible.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Jones regarding this process? Thank you so much. We look forward to this. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, thank you, councilors. At this time, we'll turn our attention to the next item on our agenda, and it's a discussion related to the Human Rights Commission and some work that we need to move forward with in ensuring that we have people selected to sit on this particular commission. So I'll call at this time Mr. Josh Coleman, Director of Public Affairs. Mr. Coleman, thank you.
Thank you, Council. My name is Josh Coleman. I serve as Director of Public Affairs. The Human Rights Commission is part of the Non-Discrimination Ordinance, and you all have appointees to that, as well as the mayor. Those terms are all expired, and we just need to reappoint folks to those. As you know, this commission is to advise you and the mayor on discriminatory practices or complaints that's brought before the city.
Thank you. Any questions regarding this request? Councilors, we do have a timeline that we need to get this. How soon do we need to get this to you? I know you requested it a few days, at least a week ago, and we wanted to bring this before the Committee of the Whole and be sure that councilors understood what this commission was and some of the criteria for the people that we're selecting to represent our district.
Yes, in January would be wonderful.
January, all right. Go ahead, Administrator McDaniels.
Yeah, just based on prior discussion, Madam President, with the Government Affairs Office, we looked at December 30th because there are some other pieces that are tied to this other than just getting the commission in place. There's an interest that the city has that this commission is important to outside of its work.
Okay, so thank you so much. So counselors, we have our homework in front of us, and we'd like to get this information in by December 30th. I think those of us who've served already, we've gone through this process. So for our new counselors, if you have any questions about the criteria or again, what seating someone in that seat would require, we could also go back to Mr. Coleman and get that information. All right, thank you. So we'll have that in for you by December 30th. Thank you, Mr. Coleman. Next, we have our BOLD update, and we have Ms. Monique Shorts, who is with the IEO department, and we're always happy to get updates on BOLD, and this is one of the requirements that we had asked them, and so we thank you for bringing that forward. Go ahead, Ms. Shorts. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity.
afternoon.
I'm Mo Shorts, and I serve as the Senior Program Manager of the Office of Business Diversity and Opportunity, and I also serve as the Program Manager for the BOLD Funding Program. So I'm here today to celebrate a year of transformation, growth, and community empowerment through our 9 FY 2025 BOLD awardees. Better Basics, Be Kind Birmingham, Breakthrough Birmingham, Bundles of Hope, The Flourish Alabama, Hispanic Immigrant Center of Alabama, Mez Plus Consulting, Momentum Leaders, and the Step by Step Foundation. Their collective efforts this year demonstrate the power of collaboration, dedication, and community-focused programming. So together, these organizations reach thousands of individuals and families across Birmingham. I will share with you a few high-level impact numbers. 13,000 individuals were served, over 1 million essential resources were distributed, 108 businesses were served or supported, 151 jobs created through business development initiatives, 171 community partnerships were built or strengthened, 377 events were held, and 100 certifications were gained by participants. A few of our awardees had education-focused initiatives that reached over 3,300 Birmingham students, providing mentorship, internships, resources, and pathways to success. And lastly, over 4,900 wraparound services were provided to Birmingham residents to ensure their primary and secondary needs were met. While this is the end of the year, we are still having one more reporting cycle, so reports are going to be due in January. So each of the BOLD awardees are here to really share their highlights.
Thank you. Councilors, any questions regarding this particular presentation? Or are you going to let each one give us them? Perfect, thank you.
We'll start with Be Kind. That's
Okay.
fine? Okay.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to let me update you on what All Be Kind has been doing this past year. So far, we have served 7,293 individuals across Birmingham through our mobile-free pop-up stores and outreach events. We've hosted or participated in around 90 pop-ups and outreach events throughout the year, with 2 more remaining. Through these events, we have distributed over 67,000 essential items and counting, including clothing, shoes, toiletries, cleaning supplies, and household goods. These items represent over $425,000 in goods returned directly to the community, reflecting a strong return on public investment while meeting immediate needs for Birmingham families. In addition to items, we provided 4,862 wraparound services at the household level. These services included haircuts, mental health counseling, referrals, workforce attire, hygiene and cleaning supplies, school supplies, and more. We've collaborated with more than 80 community partners, including libraries, recreation centers, workforce programs, shelters, and local businesses. Our pop-ups were hosted primarily at Birmingham Public Library branches and recreation centers, bringing the resources directly into BOLD priority neighborhoods. Everything we do is designed around choice and dignity, not charity. Together, this allowed us to turn an $86,350 BOLD investment into a 4-time return into direct community impact. Thank you for your continued support, for believing in this work, and for investing in programs that allow us to meet families where they are and serve Birmingham with dignity and care.
Any questions for this particular BOLD grantee, I guess? Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Catherine Goodrow. I have the pleasure of serving as Executive Director of Better Basics. This year, Better Basics will serve more than 40,000 children across central Alabama, the majority of those here in the city of Birmingham. With BOLD funding this year, we were able to support 14 child care centers with our Ready to Rise program. That program helps ensure that children in the city of Birmingham show up to their first day of school ready to learn. Those 14 child care centers had more than 249 children in them. With those programs, we hired certified teachers who provided weekly intervention sessions for a total of 4,892 sessions of instruction that students received in the centers. Students also receive a gift book each week to build their home library, which has been shown to be the single biggest predictor of academic success for children. In these 14 centers, we distributed 1,189 books to children. We pre- and post-test the children to show the results of this program. On average, students achieved more than 54% increase in their kindergarten readiness skills. While those test scores are amazing, I want to tell you about Jay. Jay's pre-test showed just 52% proficiency in reading, 65% in math, and 60% in science. But his post-test showed 93% proficiency in reading, 85% in math, and 100% in science. Or Kayla, whose pretest showed 69% proficiency in reading, but whose post-test score was 100% proficiency. Her pretest showed just 20% proficiency in mathematics, but her post-test, 85%. With BOLD funding, more than 200 students have received tremendous academic support from certified teachers that help show that they are ready for the first day of school and for years and years of academic success because of their strong start. We appreciate the city of Birmingham and the support, and we know that the schools that these students are entering are now equipped with the resources that they need as well. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this update. Glad to see the progress and the work that's been done. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Marion Michelle. I'm the Executive Director of Breakthrough Birmingham. I want to say, first of all, thank you for the gift of supporting our Thrive Teacher Coaching Program this year. These 18 teachers that we supported ended up working with over 3,100 students in Birmingham City Schools. So what that really means, outside of the direct support that these teachers received, you're also going to get within a school year students who are going to have a lifetime of support from those teachers, and then those teachers are going to go year to year making sure that they're able to support the next generation of students. So with this program, we had over 600 hours of coaching that took place one-on-one, making sure that teachers were able to get the coaching that they needed to, so that they could actually instruct the way that they needed to instruct, so that they could get the praxis support that they needed to get in order to take the tests they need to get certified. We had over 350 observation hours. We had, we had 6 of the eligible 8 teachers actually get their certification from this program. So for us, what that means is we have teachers that are going to stay in the classroom a lot longer, which is what we were aiming for. And I'm just grateful that when I think about like Miss Quinette Mason, first grade teacher, who started really timidly in this program, the number one thing that she's come out saying is not only is she able to get that support that she needed, but she was able to form community with other teachers. That's a huge part for us. We know that when you feel like you have peers within the actual work that you're doing, you're more likely to stay in that work a lot longer. And we need as many teachers, as many high-quality teachers as possible, staying in the classroom to help support our kids and transform communities. So thank you so much for the entire support that you guys have provided for us. Thank you to Mo and her team. Just phenomenal people that y'all have working here, so thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate this update. Glad for all the great results. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Lindsay Gray, Executive Director with Bundles of Hope Diaper Bank. Just want to thank you guys for the opportunity. This is actually our second year to receive BOLD funding. We were able to not only sustain and grow those partnerships we developed in the first year, but add 5 new additional partnerships in year 2. We participated in 4 city events, 1 with the police department, Birmingham Promise, 2 with our district, a health fair, and then a senior brunch. That was actually last week. A great event. We actually had to initiate our disaster response for the government shutdown, increased distribution by 50% for that. We met the needs of 2,000 Birmingham residents, hitting our goals for diaper wipes and period product distributions across the city. We are actually serving all 9 districts currently, which is really exciting. That took us a minute to get those 46 partnerships. We added additional wraparound services as well. I don't know how familiar everybody is with where we're located. We're right off of 15th and 8th. I literally walked here. We love being there in the Fountain Heights area, but we actually offer wraparound services when we're doing our walk-in distributions, our direct service. Added legal services, connected with an attorney who's offering pro bono legal services. One of District 7 residents actually was in a house fire. That's how we met her. She didn't have basic essentials, lost everything, was also Spanish-speaking client, was getting run around from her insurance company. We were able to gain $47,000 for that family through that legal support. So I just want to say, with what we do, the basic essentials, we get all the time, you're just distributing diapers, and people don't understand the diapers are just a tool to engage in relationship with families and see what other needs they have. So I think the legal service testimony is a really beautiful one. You serve families with diapers and you have no idea what that relationship is going to carry and the impact you're going to be able to make in the lives that we're touching. So thank you so much for this investment and us for these 2 years. It has truly been an honor to team up with the city. We love serving city residents, but we also love doing business and providing valuable services right here in our city. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any questions about this particular item?
I'm just excited for everything that you all have done, Lindsay. I'm familiar, with the work that you guys have done, in District 9. And everybody that has come to this podium has, done some great things. I'm actually doing a pop-up, not really a pop-up, but Merry Kicksmas with Ashley on Saturday. So just super excited, for all of y'all, MedPlus, my pharmacy doctors, and I'm excited, Coriante and his team, y'all are just doing some great work, extending opportunity. I see our good friend Carlos out in the, audience, and I was very, very impressed with what Better Basic, like you guys are really doing some great things to enhance the lives and the quality of lives for, people throughout Birmingham. And keep telling people about Bold and spreading the word, because I really believe this is just an opportunity, to keep growing our community, putting people, these small businesses drive community. So I'm excited, for you all. Keep doing the great work.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jamon Hill. I'm the Executive Director of the Flourish Alabama, and I want to thank you all for this opportunity for the Bold Grant. This year, so far, we've been able to reach over 3,000 folks with our services and events. That is equated to also engaging with 18 women, minority, and small business owner participants as vendors at our different events, and engaging a total of 25 businesses. We've also been able to engage 110 Birmingham City Schools students through our various programming, complete 3 public art installations with a 4th one on the way and potentially a 5th one by the end of the year. When it comes to our wraparound services, we've had 36 showcases, 22 community workshops, and 222 student workshops, 70 events. And at those events, I'm now like the bold person because they know I come up and say, take that survey, y'all, so we can get our numbers recorded. We've had 12 participants experiencing wage growth. Those are the 12 that went through our Saturday Seeds Artist Development Series. 38 community partnerships, 128 paid opportunities for artists and counting throughout the year. That does not include our Word Up competition that just happened, where we were able to pay students over $7,000 this last Friday for their work. And 26 participant graduates that we also were able to work with. I do want to tell y'all a really cool story that kind of envelopes everything that the Flourish does. One of our students, actually one of our artists, Brent, who's a local rapper, we were able to bring him through our Saturday Seeds program. And through that program, we learned that he also wanted to be a teaching artist. He hadn't done that before. So this summer, we were able to hire and train him as a teaching artist. And for our summer program, we only had 2 middle schoolers in our program. We typically only work with high schoolers, but a teacher we work with recommended we bring in these 2 middle school boys, Eamon and Pharrell. And they like to freestyle. They didn't like to write. Brent sat them down and was able to work with them and encourage them to start writing their raps in addition to just freestyling. So they started writing daily, working with Brent, and he was able to bring that connection with them, and that doesn't happen unless we take that chance on Brent, and then Brent takes that chance on those 2 students. So at the Flourish, we're able to build those sort of relationships, and I'm really excited to continue doing this work. So thank you all so much.
Thank you so much as well.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Carlos Suleiman. I work at HICA, the Hispanic and Immigrant Center of Alabama. First, I want to thank Coriate and Monique for their support. I think that, we're doing quite a bit with the city right now around public safety, education, housing, and so the opportunity to support our small businesses has been a great opportunity for us as well. We were able to work with 27 participants in Birmingham residents. 25 of them were women, minority, or small business owner participants. And the number of businesses engaged and supported was 12. We were able to start 6 businesses in the city of Birmingham, including a grocery store called Surmex over in Crestwood. So we're really excited about that and helping support that initiative. We were able to cover 7 paid internships, provide wraparound services. We held 22 events, and we see 5 businesses experiencing revenue growth. We were able to partner with 9 new community partners. We were able to create 13 jobs, and we also did a cohort in which concluded with a pitch competition, and we were able to graduate 10 Birmingham residents, 34 in all, but 10 Birmingham residents. So thank you so much for the opportunity to work with you all.
Thank you. Any questions about this particular project? Again, we're very grateful for the work that you've done, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Always great to see you.
Good afternoon, Madam President,
Good afternoon.
City Council members, and to those I've yet to meet. Congratulations. I'm Dr. Jennifer, founder, principal consultant pharmacist of Meds Plus Consulting, and to my right is Dr. Pauline, co-founder as well. One thing to remember today, through BOLD funding, we're not just managing diabetes, we're preventing heart attacks and strokes, building professional careers, and proving that health and economic opportunity belong together. Meds Plus is more than a pharmacy. We go beyond prescriptions. I know Mo has given you the numbers, but I would like to give you the stories behind the dollars that BOLD invested with the community. BJ, uncontrolled hypertension. I'm gonna tell you about 2 men who joined our cohorts, both of them professionals, high-paying jobs, health insurance, primary care doctors, medications for their conditions. BJ is a 63-year-old Black male, and after receiving our remote patient monitoring, he was able to see that his blood pressure was not controlled, went to his doctor, and the doctor told him, you were headed for a heart attack or stroke. The doctor increased his medication, one of the blood pressure medications. BJ is thriving. He's here for his family. and he's still economically employed through the city of Birmingham. Next, I have MJ. He presented with a blood sugar of 409, an A1C of 12. To put that in perspective, that's dangerously high. Anything greater than 6.5 indicates diabetes. At 12, he was completely uncontrolled. When I say we, our team, our community health workers, we acted immediately when we saw those numbers. We discovered that he wasn't using his medication properly, one of the injections that is prescribed for diabetes. By the end of and he also ate fast food every day, him and his wife. MJ, by the end of our 10-week program, reduced his A1C from 12 to 7.5. If he had continued and had not been a part of our program, he was facing devastating complications, potentially losing eyesight, nerve damage, amputation, or dialysis. We turned it around. So now I've talked about the health impact that the Bold Dollars has made. I want to talk about the workforce. And these are the 3 women that are sitting right here up front. First, I want to tell you about Asia. While supporting our DSMES participants, she simultaneously enrolled in our pharmacy tech training program through the Good Jobs Challenge. Now she brings even more expertise to her role, understanding both the public side, or the public health side, and the pharmacy side of diabetes. And she went so much as created a weekly meal planner for participants. Thank you, Aisha. Next is Jamise. This is an example of city investments working together. Not only is Jamise a pharmacy technician in the community, Jamise is a Birmingham Promise student. She graduated from Lawson, UAB, in public health. That's Birmingham investing in Birmingham. Now she's gone from UAB to Bold with a future public health leadership career. That's the full ecosystem working together. Thank you, Asia. Roshana, her trajectory is remarkable. This is our 2nd year receiving Bold, and she was a community health worker for us in 2024. 2025 Bold, she was promoted to program manager. And oh, by the way, we also received Good Jobs Challenge grant, so we needed her to run 2 programs. Not only did she manage both, but she also, in 1 year, went from, so sorry, it's my workout alarm. In 1 year, she went from frontline service delivery to leading 2 major workforce development initiatives. She's living proof that when you invest in talent and promote from within, you multiply your impact. Thank you, Roshana.
Thank you.
Bold saves lives, builds careers, and integrates solutions. Bold provided pharmacist intervention, remote patient monitoring, and culturally competent support. That's us, MedPlus. This is what's possible when you invest in comprehensive, community-centered care. Thank you so much. We are so honored to serve the residents of Birmingham.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
I hope y'all are all doing well this afternoon. I want to first of all say thank you, Monique Schwartz, for all of your support. Coriate, thank you so much as well. And of course to the entire body, the City Council, for supporting Momentum Leaders. Momentum Leaders, our mission is to advance women in leadership, and that's exactly what we were able to do with these Bold Dollars. I want to report to you that the Bold impact that happened throughout the 2025 year was a reported salary increase of $274,000 amongst 48 women who graduated our program. And so that's something to be celebrated. Again, we had 48 women within the city of Birmingham to graduate the Momentum Works program. And those women participated in a 6-month program where they learned personal and professional development training. This was really intense training to really give them and build the confidence that they need to go out and secure those salary increases that they so deserving of. And again, we're just appreciative of the City Council and Monique Shorts and the entire city of Birmingham for supporting Momentum Leaders. And we look forward to continuing this work that we're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Good evening, how y'all doing?
Good evening.
I know everybody's saying thank you over and over again, but we gotta thank you guys for the opportunity that you guys gave us. Mo, you knocked it out of the park. Coriente, you never let us feel alone. I'm Coach L, Leonard Stevens, founder of Step by Step Foundation. So I'm gonna read here what my wife put together on this paper, because she kept up with the data.
All right.
You know, I was out doing the work. So Beyond the Game, good afternoon. In 2025, the Beyond the Game program was all about one thing, showing young people that their future is bigger than one lane, one dream, or one opportunity. This year, we didn't just talk about exposure. We created real experiences, real access, and real outcomes. We started the year with Smart Money, Smart Moves, where we taught young people the fundamentals of financial literacy. They learned how to budget, how to make smart financial decisions, and how to understand money as a tool, not something to fear, but something to master. We took our mission to a larger stage, partnering with Councilman Woods at our Magic City Summit in Birmingham, where youth were exposed to entrepreneurship, leadership, and career pathways beyond sports. So we pretty much brought in a lot of our expert athletes that play professional sports and brought them in. So you're not only learning from, you're not just learning from somebody who said they know about it, but somebody who's actually doing it. We then were able to have success with them right here in our own city. Through the Power of Retire event was our second event where we showed young men the importance of dressing with success. We taught them how you present yourself matters, not just in interviews, but in life, because confidence and preparation and professionalism open doors. We also hosted an etiquette class to go with the Power of Retire event, where young people learn proper table etiquette, communication skills, and social awareness. These are life skills that kind of help you walk with the rooms where you belong. Beyond the Game events were focused on relationships. We provided mentorship to over 80 students in Birmingham City Schools, offering guidance, encouragement, and consistent support. We also partnered with programs such as Big Brothers Big Sister program of Birmingham, where we spoke to youth about entrepreneurship and the power of owning your own business, teaching them that they can be leaders, creators, and decision makers in their own future. We intentionally support the community by partnering with 3 minority women-owned businesses, reinforcing the importance of circulating dollars and opportunities within the community. I'm going to read you guys a testimonial from one of our participants. After high school, I didn't receive a college football scholarship, and losing the game left me feeling discouraged and unsure of my future. The Beyond the Game program helped me look beyond football and discover strengths I didn't even realize I had. Leadership, mentoring, and the ability to coach others. Through Beyond the Game, I interned in the athletic department and there I learned many career opportunities in sports outside of being a player. Today, I'm studying sports management at Tuskegee University. Beyond the Game helped me regain my confidence and realize I'm more than an athlete with endless opportunities for success. Thank you, guys.
Wonderful, thank you. Well, we thank you so much, Ms. Shorts, for bringing each of one of these bold winners and providing us updates and information on their progress. And again, continue to see how valuable this program is to our residents. And so we thank you for the work that you do, and IEO also does. Any questions or comments about the presentation? All right, counselors, I would like to ask that we go back and reconsider and look at the priority items that we just voted on. And I do want to be fair to any counselor who has asked to put any item on the agenda. And so we'll open that up. I know we've already approved the 4 items, but there were 2 additional items that were presented to us. So at this time, do we have any, Counselor Woods, would you like to go ahead and make a motion that we consider your item?
Yeah, without objection, I would like to add the municipal blight tax to the joint City of Birmingham legislative agenda.
All right, there's been a second. And any questions or discussion? All right, councilors, we're entertaining the vote because we do thank you for the overview and the work that you did to bring that item to us, and I believe it gives us full scope of what you're requesting. So at this time, we'll entertain a vote. All those that would like to add this item to our priority list, please say aye. Aye. Any opposers? All right, thank you. At this time, we will add that item. Councilors, also in fairness, I know that there was also another request in terms of going back to revert back to the Mayor Council Act prior to 2018 that was passed. Do we have anyone who wants to motion to put that item on our priority list?
I think one to consider, this is our joint agenda with
Yes.
council administration. I imagine that item is not going to be a joint priority, so we'll probably have to conversate around that as a standalone.
All right, thank you. I think that makes good sense. Since this one, again, would be a separate one that we would want to bring about as a council, if the council so desires. Council, I entertain a motion if you'd like to put that for additional consideration at a later date and time. Are you ready now to make that, second that motion to put that on the priority list? Or a separate list that would be generated by the council? Okay, so the question is there it's no motion, it's just to see if there's interest in reconsidering this item, the one that was presented about the Mayor Council Act, and
I think
further consideration.
Yeah, the motion should be just the joint City of Birmingham legislative agenda, which consists of 5 items now.
Okay. So that motion is, we've restated the motion, as Councilor Woods has stated, we are now considering these 5 items as part of our priority list. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right, thank you, councilors. That motion is approved, and so we will move those 5 items. We'll move those 5 items for consideration to place on our priority list. They are on our priority list. And that would be for our December 30th, I'm getting my dates wrong, December 30th council meeting. Everyone in agreement? All right, thank you, councilors. At this time, is there a motion to adjourn? I know we say we don't have to do it, but I just do it out of habit. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
All right, second. All right, thank you. All those in favor say aye.